At the beginning of 1999, two game developers named Min Lee and Jess Cliff wanted to create a game centered on the conflict between terrorism and counter-terrorism. Eventually, they decided to create a mod for the recently released game Half-Life. On June 19, 1999, the first public beta was released, and the gaming community absolutely loved it. So much so that the two developers didn't even have to make any maps themselves, because right from the beginning, fans would simply submit their own through the official website. Popular fan-created maps like Dust, Siege, Nuke, among others, became essential parts of the game's early development. In other words, Counter-Strike was a major success. Valve, the creators of Half-Life, quickly took an interest in the mod, and by beta version 4 began assisting the developers. By the end of 2000, Valve had actually hired the developers and released Counter-Strike as a standalone game. The franchise quickly grew in popularity to become one of the most popular first-person shooters on the market. Even today, the original Counter-Strike is among the most popular games on Steam, with the most recent installment, Global Offensive, at the very top. It's possible that the Counter-Strike series is a prequel to the Left 4 Dead franchise. You see, a few areas and maps in the Left 4 Dead games can also be found in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The maps are of course remade, but the resemblance is still quite obvious at times. These overlaps can be found throughout the game, and it makes you wonder if the two series are actually part of the same universe. I mean, if this was any other game developer, we would be calling them lazy, but hey, it's Valve, so yay! So the question is this just asset recycling or actual hints towards something more? Much like the arcade version of Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike Neo is the arcade version of Counter-Strike. Released sometime in 2003, the game is only available in Japan and is some form of futuristic shooter with cyborgs and anime-looking characters and yeah, basically a reskinned version of the game made to appeal to a Japanese audience. 3 other spin-off titles has been made as well, titled Counter-Strike Online 1 and 2 and Counter-Strike Nexon Zombies. In 2009, a small Counter-Strike tournament between the two Russian teams Virtus Pro and Force was held in Russia. The event promised a night of competitive gaming between two highly ranked esport teams, but the sponsors of the event had a slightly different idea. They decided to make things a little more interesting by secretly inviting a couple of strippers to see if the players would get distracted. The women did all they could, but the competition went on as usual and the players seemed completely unfazed. Well, maybe not completely. I guess Counter-Strike players are just really dedicated to the sport. The names of some of the bots in the games are actually named after real people. For example, on hard difficulty, there's a bot named Gabe as a homage to Gabe Newell. There's also a bot named Dave after the creator of maps like Dust, Dust 2 and Cobble. In expert mode, 2 bots can be found named Min and Cliff as a reference to the original developers. On normal, there's a bot named Chris, who's named after the creator of maps like Aztec, Inferno and Frantic. Has a player in a game ever made you so angry that you wanted to actually kill that person in real life? Back in 2010, a man in France decided to play some Counter-Strike. One particular match ended with him being killed in a knife fight. The man got so angry by this that he decided to spend the next 7 months tracking this guy down. When he finally found out who he was and where he lived, he traveled to his house, and when he opened the door, he stabbed him in the chest with a knife. Luckily for the victim, he missed his heart by a few centimeters, so he survived the attack. But seriously, how do you go 7 months without thinking, you know what, maybe I'm overreacting here, maybe I'm just overreacting a bit, maybe I should think this through? No? 7 months still doing this? Okay. On the highly popular map Dust 2, you can find this piece of graffiti that reads Goose. This isn't exactly a secret since the area is often referred to as just Goose. But not everyone knows why, though. Goose is actually a reference to one of the creators of the original mod, Min Lee, whose online nickname is Gooseman. In 2007, a student at a school in Texas was suspended simply because he created a Counter-Strike map based on his school. This happened in the wake of the Virginia Tech shooting where 32 people were killed. Because of the heightened sense of fear caused by this, schools around the country were on high alert for any suspicious activity. So when teachers realized that a student had created a level in a game where the objective is to fight terrorists and planting bombs, things got out of hand pretty quickly. Police got involved and it was seen as some sort of minor act of terrorism, but the boy was never actually arrested. He was, however, kicked out of the school and was forced to transfer to a new one, all because of some poor timing and a harmless map in a video game. All the radio commands and dialogue heard in each installment
Bomb has been defused. Bomb has been planted. Go, go, go! Affirmative. Okay, let's go.
was recorded by co-creator Jess Cliff. It wasn't until Global Offensive that each faction received their own unique voice actors.
I'm blind! I can't see anything! Quit screwing around!
I will guard the bomb site. Going to the bomb site.
I see them. I can see them. I see our enemy. Nice! Nice shot, man!
Thus replacing most of the originals. But not all, though. For example, the final messages like
Terrorists win.
or
Counter-terrorists win.
still remain. In Counter-Strike Source on the map Inferno, there's a room dubbed the Boiler Room, or just Boiler for short. In Global Offensive, they either forgot or chose not to include this room, and players quickly noticed. So in late 2014, Valve updated the game to include this boiler. This created a minor outcry within the community, as players thought it was kinda strange that Valve would update something as trivial as this, while still not fixing many bugs in the game. This escalated even further when the map received yet another update, where they removed the boiler again and instead placed it here, in this pickup truck. This turn of events quickly turned into a sort of running joke or meme, if you will, and the boiler has since been found on other maps as well.